I mean, this is what they do in like real improv. Is we just basically like start the scene, right, and then we kind of edit as we go.
My acting's never been good enough for you.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying you should listen to what I have to say. I studied at Juilliard.
Still on Juilliard.
We have these world-renowned. I mean, Academy Award-winning.
Yeah, and who was I? Just some kid from the Bronx?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that a lot of these professors, the faculty that they had at Juilliard. I mean, these are Tony, Emmy-nominated actors.
That's all you care about.
Acting is very important to me.
I did it for me.
We can't all do it for ourselves.
How did this whole journey start?
I was a young actor living in Los Angeles. I was going out for a lot of commercial work. I did a little bit of extra work in the film Bananas. You can see me. I gave a little bit of to the camera. Behind the camera, the director was his eyes lit up. He kind of was like, "Who's that guy ordering that coffee at the halal cart? He's kind of got something, you know." And that was the first time I really felt recognized.
I think he meant how did being you start.
Oh.
I wasn't even an actor. Friend of a friend, Avery, hooked us up. He said, you'd like each other. And I remember thinking, this is the biggest asshole I've ever met.
Yeah, Avery, who I'd kind of like heard about through the Whisper network of Hollywood. He's a little bit, he doesn't do exactly traditional projects, you could say.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to this kind of like punky hotshot. Sure, he had the traditional looks.
Well, you know, I was washing dishes back then, and they just found me. They said, you got it.
And, we met up at the party, and we just became kind of a duo.
Yeah, there was a girl, and, we didn't know which one of us she liked. And, turns out it was neither.
And that woman's name? Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston. Guess we both won.
And how does that lead us into Serious I?
I actually auditioned for the part of A.
I remember that.
Lyle's part. Pool my own hand blood. You remember?
What? When I first read the script, I remember, oh my god, this is like exactly the kind of role that Peter Sellers would have been amazing in. And I could kind of fill the role in culture that it's got physical comedy, it's got interpersonal drama to it, showcase all of my different sides, because I'd been doing a little bit of comedy work, but it mainly kind of focused on drama. But I was like, okay, it's going to be a big leap into a new genre that I've only dabbled in. We're just going to dive in, because, that's how you got to do it in life, You just got to take some leaps, and this is really what this was for me.
I don't think he went to Juilliard.
Nobody expected Serious I to be as big of a hit as it was, and I remember we were going to all of these award shows, and after the Oscars party, remember when we...
Brad Pitt?
Yeah, we met Brad Pitt, and such a nice guy. There's a lot of things going... People say a lot of different stuff in Hollywood, but
I've heard
he's just such a wonderful guy.
He's always been nice to me.
He was a little bit nicer to me. Have you ever been to his house?
No.
I've been to his house a few times.
All right. Okay. What's going on?
Just press play. Trust me.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I haven't watched it.
I haven't watched this in decades.
I haven't watched this in like 20 years.
Look how young you are.
I know. Oh, my skin was so much better back then.
You remember how many takes that took me? You think Scorsese would deal with that today?
Nah. It wouldn't tell me anything.
I can't believe they used this take.
Your shirt, the cuff of your shirt's a little bit.
Been hanging out with my guy C. He and I, we're gonna go halvesies on the product.
It's just such a like.
I remember this like it was yesterday.
Yeah, there's a lot of like movies these days. They don't have as much emotional depth as this is a real story of betrayal.
It's all practical effects.
Yeah.
There's no CGI. There's no green screen. It's heart that other movies. They just don't make movies like this.
A streamer would never pick something like this up.
Did you think you were gonna get nominated for this?
He's a student.
A little bit, yeah.
I still believe it. Why would he do this?
You couldn't make this today.
No. This would send people on Twitter crazy.
We'd get canceled.
We'd get canceled. The catering, on this day, they actually brought in some really great non-fat yogurt.
You wouldn't eat anything they brought in. Gluten this, gluten that.
It was no carbs, no refined sugars, no saturated fats, trans fats. The one exception, and just because Cheez-Its, I die for them. It's crazy how much of this stuff is in all of the food. It's like everything. It's like sugar, salt, fat, sugar, salt, fat, sugar, salt, fat.
You still have the bear? I remember Serious II. I could barely get through a take. K2, weed, pins, spice. If you could smoke it, I was smoking it.
I remember once.
Me, Hanks, Cruz, 8 Ball, bottle of gin,
Tuesday.
every Tuesday.
I understand, taking drugs to further your artistic career. I myself have had many beautiful artistic experiences on psychedelics and mushrooms. But when it comes to the hard, like cocaine and the harder stuff, it's like, you gotta know when to stop.
It's not even a performance that I am capable of, like, sober. It kind of reminds me of, like, Marshall's early work, and he just misses that when he goes to rehab, and I kind of miss coke.
Got so bad, I was like, I gotta call all of Sean's best friends to stage an intervention of some kind. And I was going through my phone contacts, and I saw Brad, and I was like, maybe they're not close enough for the intervention, but I invited all of your other friends.
I remember opening the door to my apartment, and I was strung out, and I just see you, and then sitting at the couch. Courtney Cox was there, Jen, Al Pacino, Bobby De Niro, Michael Bay, Tarantino, that girl he was dating, it was a long couch, Madsden, Michaela, Adam Sandler. I mean, half of Billy Madison. You kind of had the old Hollywood, you had the new Hollywood, the kind of people I was mentoring, Leo, Joaquin, River.
Mel Brooks was there, and he's seen everything.
I was like, Mel Brooks, are you sure this isn't for you? I'm like, Mel, wasn't I just with you last night? I was like, is this a joke? Mel, Wesley Snipes, of course, Woody Harrelson, McConaughey, the Harry Potter kid? I don't think this ever even came out, of course, back then, no camera phones. I laid into the prop girl on Serious 3, Angelica, I'm sorry. I put them all through hell, and I am sorry. I'm sorry to you, her, everyone. But next time, though, get the right fucking prop, I said this start of my career, I'm not doing sequels.
The first Serious movie, I mean, we saw, yes, it was a little bit weird, but we knew it was the kind of film that Hollywood wanted. It was going to be commercially successful. But with the second one, we were like, okay, our audience is bought in. We can take a little bit more creative liberties with this one.
We could kind of take it to a different place.
Right.
It's more action.
It's a little edgier.
It's definitely, we were pushing the envelope.
Do you remember we almost walked out of a meeting with John Thurman? He gave us this note. He was like, listen, guys, love the script, love the production. Sean, you're great. Lyle, you're great. A little too much yelling. Can we maybe talk a little bit quieter? Because audiences at the time, they had soft ears and they couldn't...
Well, it's funny because when it came out, critics they agreed with Thurman. They were like, they're yelling too much. And nowadays, you got the movie, everyone's yelling everything.
I had to walk out of the new Avengers because my ears...
You gotta yell if you want to make it today.
I have so many friends in the industry. They pay $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 of a retainer for a yelling coach. And actually, I also have a yelling coach, also a Juilliard alum. And he told me that the key is it's all in the throat. So you just like...
For 3, they were just like fucking cashing in. They just saw it as a payday. They were like, let's put them on the posters and the rest will work itself out.
They were like, we're going to do special effects. We're going to do it on location in Brazil.
It wasn't our script.
No.
Avery wasn't even directing.
He wasn't even involved.
It shouldn't have even been called Serious.
It's like they could have gotten any dumb fucks off the street to do it. Why
they could have got fucking Owen Wilson, Vince Vaughn, whatever.
Those guys are actually
fucking
friends, so don't talk
assholes.
about
I think you were up for a Razzie.
I was nominated for a Raspberry Award, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's just a joke. Play into it, Lyle. Like you'll make you likable." And I'm like, "There's something funny about acting."
I remember they parodied us on Epic Movie. They had a whole plane segment. All the money I made from Serious 1 and 2, they went to my Roth, my 401, my home gym, my 2 precious little girls, my first ex-wife, my second ex-wife, my third ex-wife. Kind of took a lie out of me. Initially, I said I'm not going back. Once I got clean, I just couldn't stay in Hollywood. The whole Me Too culture, Weinstein. To me, Hollywood was just a place to party, and I just didn't really need that in my life. It was good memories, those that, when I wasn't too fucked up, those memories that I still had. A lot of fun. A little too much fun. Left my mark, maybe, in Hollywood. I never cared about that, though, For me, it was just seeing if I could.
I got a Facebook message from a name I hadn't seen in a long time, Avery Goodman. Hey, Lyle, I know it's been a while. But I got a script. I remember thinking, oh my god, it was a complete and utter return to the roots. There was a part in the script that called for Sean and Lyle to yell at each other for 3 minutes. I was like, wow, I remember Series 3, they said we're not allowed to yell.
Because we were on the plane.
We were on the plane.
No, I remember when he reached out, I wasn't interested. I told him hi and bye, thanks for coming. Call me if you want dinner. And I'm not doing acting. And he said, Sean, just read the script.
I called you and I said, Sean, first of all, how you have kids? Hope your kids are doing all right. Sorry, I don't know, I wasn't invited to the wedding, but that's all right.
You missed it. But the craziest part about that script is, you were so drunk, you might not remember. This is real. This is based on a real story from a night me, Lyle, and Avery had in the valley.
It's got all of the action from Serious 1. I'd forgotten how to do a good quick turn. There was a lot of going like, what?
Yeah?
Oh, for sure.
You turn it up a little?
Dude, I cannot wait for this date tonight.
We used to get so fucking high.
Yeah.
This makes you kind of want to drink.
Funny enough, see in this scene how we're smoking? That was actually a creative liberty taken. In the real story, we were drinking.
98 in the valley, everyone was drinking and driving.
Actually, I take all that back. We were drinking and smoking.
Fucking crazy.
Now, that line was ad-libbed.
Well, it's kind of interesting because this is what Avery does as a filmmaker. Is he takes what he sees in real life, but then he adds to it by having people cough.
I think honestly, I don't want to start any beef, but Larry David stole it from him. The whole just put the camera on, let me improv.
I do remember when Curb came out. I was like, hey, a little
I
similar.
was like, could we sue?
I don't know, man. Like, what if I get the shit?
If you get the shits, you take a shit,
That line about the shits, in the real story, I had diarrhea that night.
You see, I had a little more weight on me. That was the antidepressants.
No head for either of us.
That was true.
That was true.
Funny enough.
That was true.
I know that when it came out, a lot of people were comparing it to Swingers, but I still think it's its own beast entirely.
They compared it to Swingers. They compared it to The Lighthouse. They compared it to
Sideways.
Sideways. They compared it to Pulp Fiction a little bit because we kind of got that dynamic going. One review actually said it looks like Avery's been watching a lot of Tarantino in his
Ebert, fucking ass.
Yeah, Ebert never liked the serious movies, but what Ebert didn't understand, even though we got older, I felt as though the series movies were really meant to be understood by the younger generation, who were a little bit like closer to what was going on in the moment. And Ebert was a little out of touch.
I was at a bar downtown, and me and Ed Norton ran into Ebert. And Ed hates him.
Mm-hmm. You had to hold him back.
He had to hold me back.
I guess I'm glad he's dead.
I remember I read the New York Times, the first review that came out. It was front page, return to form. And I remember thinking, we're back.
People were starting to take serious.
We both got nominated for Best Actor. Unfortunately, they gave the fucking, Joaquin, whatever. But there was some real hype about us. Then, of course, the pandemic.
When the pandemic happened, I was stuck at home with nothing to do, so I figured, okay, I'm gonna study. I got the Criterion collection, and I was going through all of the classic films. I stumbled upon, an old favorite, a little movie called Heat. When my mother was giving birth in the hospital, my father had Heat on in the hospital TV, and she was actually going into labor, and he said, wait, this is my favorite part. The scene he was watching was the scene that we did
the diner scene.
Serious 5, and I wouldn't have watched my son be born either. That was such a great scene. Made a call to Avery, and I said, Avery, let's do Heat. He said, what? Huh? What do you mean do Heat? I was like, do Heat? What do you do? We're gonna do Heat. And he went, oh, okay. We're gonna do Heat.
I like Heat. Everyone likes Heat. I like the big ol' ass. All of that. I love Pacino. But, I was friends with that. I kind of asked him, can you even do a movie that already exists?
It's a remaster.
And I remember they were like, oh, it's like parody law.
Well, it's not, it's like a tribute.
Yeah, they said it's like a cover band. And I said, all right, I could cover Pacino. And I remember when I got the script, which is, just Heat, of course, but with cutaways of coughing, I said, I could win Best Actor.
When the film came out, people told me, I can't even watch the old Heat anymore. Okay, you're Macaulay. Okay, you're Macaulay. You're my Macaulay. I had to call De Niro to apologize. Look, man, I'm sorry if I, I mean, he was a little upset. I mean, that's his character. That's his legacy. I mean, it was his character.
That's Hollywood.
That's Hollywood. He's been in the game for a long time. He can take a little heat.
Now, I remember 93rd Academy Awards. Best Actor was me, Lyle, I think Hopkins, Riz Ahmed, he was drumming, Stephen Yeun, and when they called... Gary Oldman, you're right. And they called my name, and I couldn't believe it.
It's always been my dream to win an Academy Award because before the time I die, I want to be an EGOT holder. And I thought, all right, well, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So this is going to be my the first part of my journey towards becoming an EGOT winner.
Yeah, and that night, I was just, couldn't stop looking at the Oscar. I said, this year, I was the Best Actor. I never thought I'd get there,
Yeah, so Sean won. And,
just a guy like me with no training formally, came from nothing to get the Best Actor. Like, what a monumental task.
I was happy for him. Totally happy for him. I thought he was great. He's a great actor, but he doesn't really know the kind of fundamentals very well. And I do think that the Academy is looking for actors that really kind of nail those fundamentals. But happy for him. Happy for him that he won. He's been working hard for a long time. Not as long as me. I've been an actor since for about 35 years now. I think really what happened is they wanted people to go on the internet and say Lyle was snubbed, so that it would generate more talk about the Oscars. And cool strategy. I think that's cool. And they got what they wanted. That's what people are tweeting.
Coming off of that, there was a lot of buzz. We obviously were both nominated. I won. They wanted us,
Darren Avocado. He's like, I've got a project with A24. They want to do The Founding of America by Lewis and Clark. And I said, this is a perfect role. The greatest adventurer of all of American history, Lewis. I could be Lewis.
They called my manager. I think, wanted me to be Lewis.
They did it. There was discussions. Maybe Sean could be Lewis and I could be Clark. And I was like, Clark's great, but Lewis is the lead of the project. Called Marty, executive producer on the project. And I said, Marty, listen. I'm Lewis in Lewis and Clark. I'm Lewis from Lewis C. Clark. Lewis is the Oscar-winning role in the Lewis and Clark film. Sean's got an Oscar already. I'm getting mine. Clark is a nothing part. I could wipe my ass with Clark. I'm Lewis, baby. This is gonna be my role, and I'm not letting you or any of the other bigwig studio fucks get between me and my Oscar. Get between me and my ego. So I'm playing Lewis, or I'm out. Paramount Pictures is remaking The Grinch, and I turned that role down to be Lewis, not Clark. He says to me, fine, and then he hangs up. And then I start method acting. I'm going into people's yards and crawling around, as Lewis would do, scoping for land, and they say to me, what are you doing in my house? And I said, acting. I bought a telescope to leer into people's windows and see what they were doing. And if they looked happy. And if they did, then why? If they had children, if I should have children. I never had children.
There were issues in production, I'd say.
Darren, sweet guy, a bit of a moron. Everything he's great, but just when it comes to blocking is very important. They taught us this at Juilliard. It is very important that an actor needs to cheat to the camera at 42 degrees. Do you know this? An actor
yeah.
And I brought my protractor, which I always bring to set. And Darren had me at 46. And so I was like, okay, this must be a mistake. If Darren's a professional, this is a mistake. So I corrected my stance, 42. And this fucking PA came up and tried to touch me. I elbowed him in the back. And I said, don't you dare fucking touch me. I will make sure you never work in this city again if you move me a single half a degree. And he went up, he touched me, he tried to move me out of my position. And I said, if you touch me, I will rip your face off. Now go get me a coffee with some almond milk. And Darren, he looks at me and he goes, what's going on? What are you doing? And I said, you know the 42-degree rule, of course. And they tried to block me 46 degrees. This is what I do. This is what people know me for. I'm the 42 degrees guy. That's the Lyle angle. That's the angle. This fucking idiot, this fucking guy who thinks he's his set, who thinks he's the one in charge here, who thinks he's the one guy that's going to be selling tickets on the billing of this movie, this fucking guy, he also tries to touch me. I say to him, you fucking touch me, I will kill your entire family. And so I punched him in the face, and he died.
I was on set. I was kind of off to the side, figuring out some of the props. There was a lot of commotion, and then people were like, he stabbed him, and they were like, hey, he stabbed him, and then next thing I know, they were rushing me out. They were like, Mr. Lowitz, we have an issue, you know. They put me on the jet to go to my mansion, and then first thing I heard was my manager saying, fucking Marty's out, Danny's out, Universal's out, the PA's mom, the PA was 12, is pressing charges and had to bury their child. And I said, I'm so sorry, and is the movie on or off?
That fucking kid shouldn't have been on set. So I got brought in to a meeting, and they said to me, we are kicking you off the project and replacing you with Joaquin Phoenix. And I said, okay, well, you're gonna make yourself a shitty movie. Fuck Universal. Fuck Joaquin Phoenix. That movie Joker, it's a joke. And that's when I started my Kickstarter crowdfunding to make the real Lewis and Clark. I thought, look, with the internet these days, do you even need these suits? Do you even need these gatekeepers of Hollywood anymore? No. Okay, me and my fans, the folks who want to support me in my career and who want to see the authentic Lewis and Clark movie that I was going to make at 42 degrees, we're going to raise $30 million. We're going to make the movie ourselves.
How much money did you make?
We did not make any money.
I thought I donated. No? Okay.
The amount there was a bit of an exhaustive marketing campaign, and the movie actually left me in debt.
How much debt?
$968,000.
You know, it wasn't fair what they did to us, Lyle. They just didn't understand.
I never thought my words would lose me Lewis and cost me Clark.
You know, we've been through a lot, but we're still sitting.
Everything we've been through, all the drama in the press,
For all the think pieces,
all the money, all the women, all the drugs,
the cultural moments and the media, and
all the books written about our work,
serious fever,
college courses taught,
the dissertations, the data.
It was never that serious.
It was never that serious.